Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, thanks for stopping by. My name is Jason and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at everything that I purchased at Blade Show Texas 2024. Let's get into it. So this first one that we're going to take a look at isn't actually a knife, but I picked this up at the ARTISAN Cutlery CJRB booth, and I scored this and then 3 knives, so 4 items. And what I really caught my eye on this one is that it has the digicamo scales on the handles, and that it's also, not only is it like a balisong, it is an automatic. Now it doesn't have a knife blade, but it's a trainer with a bottle opener on it. Then you can also obviously use it like a balisong, which I don't know how to use very well, but with practice I think this would be a cool little toy. As far as the model, I believe this is going to be the model there, the J1908. If we find an actual name for it other than the model number, we'll put that up on the screen for you. But just thought this was pretty slick, so I picked that up, and then picked up some knives from them as well that had the digicamo scales. And if any of you guys have watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I just love digicamo scales. I need to do an episode for you guys with all the different knives that I have in my collection with that, so maybe that's something we'll put together for you guys. But this one is, you can see the model number there. I believe that's 17, if I can get it in frame for you, 1706, which is the Predator. This is the mini version of that. It is a liner lock. This one has D2 blade steel, and it's got the deep carry, reversible pocket clip, tip up only carry. I think this is I don't know exactly when this knife came out. Talking to Russell there, he said that this was some older models that they had, and they just decided to bring them to with them to Blade Show. So I scored this one, and this is the mini version. This one here is going to be the full-size version of the knife, and I really like this one. You can see the difference. This is the full size, and then the mini. You can see there's quite a bit of difference in the size, and I also liked that the hardware on this one is anodized blue. I really liked that. I like the way it looks up against the scales there, and you can see on this version here, well, let me show you. Here's another model of the same knife. This one has the carbon fiber scales on it. This one has the back spacer in it, along with the glass breaker, which is like a Phillips, if I can get that to focus for you. It's like a Phillips tip as a glass breaker. That's, you can see it's screwed into the back spacer there. We'll link these in the description, and if you go over and check these out, this model with a carbon fiber comes with an S35VN blade material. And what I've done is, this model here with the digicamo comes with the D2 blade steel, but what I've done is I've actually switched the blades on these, so you can see that this one actually has the S35VN blade material on it now, and this one has the D2. So the intent was, since I like the digicamo scales, switch the blades and put the S35 on here, keep that for my personal collection. I have removed the back spacer and the glass breaker off of this as well, and this one here with a carbon fiber and the D2 blade steel is going to be another knife giveaway that we're going to give out to a lucky winner. So we'll leave all the instructions on how to get registered for the giveaway on this knife. But again, like I said, you can see that there it has the reversible tip up only pocket clip, and it is a liner lock. And this model is called the Predator. And like I said, we'll link it so you guys can check out the knives. And then the next model that we'll take a look at is going to be this one from RHINO. We had mentioned this in another episode, but didn't really go through it. I wasn't aware that RHINO was doing knives, didn't know too much about them, but really liked this knife at the show. Had it there, and just like the overall shape of the blade, and just thought it was really cool. It's got Nitro V blade stock. It's got a high flat grind on it, and then it does have the tritium inserts. So it's got the tritium, which RHINO is known for, right there in the back spacer, and then one here in the thumb stud as well. And it does have the dual thumb studs, but the tritium is only on the front side. So thumb studs and flipper for blade deployment. The only thing that I'm not 100% one thing that's kind of a con for me as far as my hand being so large is that this kind of narrows down here at the back, and so when I fill, it doesn't really fill up my hand all that well. It's comfortable, it just doesn't fill up my hand that well. But overall, I still think this is a really cool knife, really cool offering from RHINO. So picked one of those up. And then also made mention of this in my last video, this HOGUE. This is the EXA01. Give you a shot of that on the blade here. Give you a shot of the reverse. Now this is it's a little bit more of expensive of a knife. I think this was out north of $240 is what I paid for it total for it at the store. And some of you guys might be looking at that 154 cm, and then with a price tag of $240 total. It's a little high. I would have liked to have seen maybe CPM 154 on the blade material. But overall, I've been carrying this knife a lot, and I'm really happy with it. Now, I did put a new edge on here. I put a new profile in here, and this has got about a 17.5 degree edge on it now, and it's razor sharp. I wasn't 100% impressed with the edge that came on it, so redid that. But it is an automatic push button, really strong, and it does have the lock so that you can lock it when it's in the open and when it's in the closed position. Aluminum handles, and yeah, I really like this knife, like the pocket clip on it. I've got some jeans with some thicker pocket hems, and this thing slides into the pocket really nice. That spooned upswept just goes into the pocket really nice, and I haven't had any issues with it hanging up on anything as well. So really impressed with this knife. Just we'll have to see how that 154 cm holds up. I mean, I haven't had any issues with it on my my Griptilian from Benchmade, and if it's same type of blade material, then it should be a good knife. I've had that knife for a long time, and I haven't had any issues with it. Next knife that I purchased is this one right here that I got from the guys over at QSP. I purchased 2 knives from them. This was just in our last video, the Penguin episode, and so if you guys haven't seen that one, we'll leave it linked. But this one has the bronze wash on the titanium scales. It is frame locked there, you can see, with the wire clip, and it is reversible tip up only carry. Washers in the pivot. It's got the black stone washed 20 CV blade on it. Dual thumb studs for blade deployment, and it does have the flipper tab as well. Lockup is really, really good. I like the weight and the acoustics of this knife. It's just a really, I've carried this knife a lot since I've purchased it. It's been in my pocket most of the time, and if it's not, then I've been carrying the Hogue. So added the lanyard, added the WE titanium bead to it right there, and just really like this knife. The other knife that I purchased from QSP is this Copperhead. This one's going to be a liner lock. It's got the burlap micarta scales on it. What caught my eye was that anodized pivot ring. Really liked that. But the dual thumb studs is what it has for blade deployment, and just deploying the blade and the lockup on this knife, it's super solid. Like the contoured scales here, and just overall in hand feels really, really good. Again, pocket clip is only on one side though, so it's only right hand carry, tip up only. Does have a lanyard hole there with the back spacer, but yeah, you're only going to be able to carry it right hand. But I do enjoy the feel of the scales, and it's nice that they're contoured. Yeah, just overall, this is just a really solid feeling knife. Next one we'll take a look at is going to be this one here from KIZER. And I think this one is called a Cormorant. Let's see what it says here. Yeah. Give you a shot of that. I don't want to tell you guys wrong. We'll put it up on the screen there for you so you can get it. But this is, so truth be told, I didn't buy this at the show. They didn't have any more by the time I got there. So this knife and the next one that we're looking at, I didn't purchase at the show, but if they had been there, I would have purchased them. And the reason I purchased this one is because of the scales. I've been a PlayStation owner for a long time, and just really thought that was cool that they had that milled into the scales there. Does have nice blade material in this one, and you can see that it even has the name right there on the blade itself. There we go. But this one has, I think this has S35VN blade material. Yeah, this one has S35VN. It's got a pretty unique blade shape to it, so I don't know how many of you guys will actually be into that, but I'm kind of on the fence. It's not my favorite, and it's a medium-sized knife as well, so it's not, I usually like to carry a larger knife, and it's only button lock, or you do have the flipper tabs up here, and then it does have that hole, but it's kind of oblong, it's kind of oval, so it's a little bit more difficult. Very light, and you can tell that the blade itself is not very heavy, so it does fire out real nice with the flipper tab. But just overall, I just thought that the design on this knife was really cool, so I picked this one up. Does have the deep carry pocket clip, and you can see that it does, you can reverse it, tip up only carry. Through construction with those dual barrels standoffs back there, although it doesn't have the blank to cover that up, which some of the other knives do come with. So overall, just a neat design. Now the next one, again, I didn't purchase this one at the show, but I did want to. They just were out of the knife. This is the TOWSER K, and just really liked the scale, the pattern on the scales, and the texture, just the way it feels. It's very smooth, but that design gives you some grip. And then the blade shape, I like that as well. Just overall really cool. Again, 154 cm blade material on this one. You can see the model number there on the reverse of the blade. Dual thumb studs for blade deployment. And it is a liner lock, ball bearings. The action on this thing is super smooth, and it's very drop shut on that. Very, very, very good there. The only thing I'm not crazy about on this knife is this design right here, where it kind of comes down out of that finger choil in relation to where the pocket clip is. For me, it's kind of a hot spot when I'm grabbing that. I can kind of feel it right there. You can see how it kind of positions on my hand. And for me, that's not very comfortable. I don't know if it would be more comfortable for smaller hands, or I don't know. But for me, that's just kind of, and it's not as, maybe if it was wider of a knife, I would like it a little bit better. I mean, that's just a minimal gripe. It's still, I just still really like this knife a lot. So that's the TOWSER K. Now this next knife, I didn't purchase this at the show either. I wanted to. They only had one left. They didn't take, they were only accepting cash at the booth. This one is the CORGI. And so I had to go find an ATM, and it took me forever. I had to actually go all the way back to my hotel and use the ATM in the lobby. And when I got back, somebody had this knife in their hand and they purchased it right in front of me. So I ordered this one in, and I just really like this knife. I like the aesthetics. I like the white G10 on it. It does have the front flipper, your standard flipper, and then the push button for being able to deploy the blade. Now, the one thing that I'm not 100% on as far as being a fan, and that's this blade is very thin, so it's going to be a really good slicer, but it's very light. There's not a lot of weight to the blade, so it does work really well with that back flipper. I'm not a huge front flipper guy. You can use the button, and it's got great action on it, but the blade is real light. It doesn't have a lot of, I mean, you can see there's not a lot of stock there. So this one does have, you can see that, does have the blank, so that will fill in the pocket clip. So it is reversible, left or right carry, tip up only. And just a really good looking knife. And I really like it with the white scales. And yeah. So I had to have one of those for the collection. And then this last one that we'll take a look at is one that I scored from CHAVES Knives. And this one is their, I think this one's called the, oh, it says right here on there, the KICKSTOP. And you can see that on the blade that it does have that chisel grind. I'm not a huge fan of this grind. I don't have any knives that have this grind on it. But on this knife, I just really like the way it looks. Now, they did tell me that they're not going to do this grind on this model anymore. This was, I guess, like the last run that they were going to do. Oh, and by the way, this one is M390 blade material. You can see that there. You can see the lockup there. Titanium scales on this one. Frame lock. Their signature pocket clip there, the skull pocket clip. I just, what caught my eye was the finish on the titanium scales on this one. Obviously that iconic pocket clip, and just the finish on the blade, that contrast with the black hardware. I mean, it's just a really good looking knife. It's got some weight to it because you've got some good blade stock there, and also nice slabs of that titanium with that titanium backspacer there. So it does have some weight to it, but I don't mind that in the pocket. I can appreciate it for what it is. Yeah, this one's just super rad. So that's going to be pretty much it. These are all the knives that I scored at Blade Show. If you haven't seen this model before, I'll say before we wrap up here, That's kind of what makes this knife here, is that mechanism on the flipper tab. You can see that it's an actual separate piece that actuates the blade. So whenever the knife is closed, you've got a flipper tab there, but once you actuate it open, that will actually drop down in there and it's out of the way, so you don't have that sticking out the bottom here into that finger choil. So it's very clean. Just a really cool design. But like I was saying, yeah, this is all of the knives that I purchased at Blade Show. If you haven't seen our footage of the show and the review that Russell gave us for the Artisan cutlery, I will leave that linked at the end of this video. You guys can jump over there, check that out. And I'll leave some of the other videos for some of the other knives that we've already reviewed. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up all of our purchases from Blade Show 2024. Thanks for hanging out with us. For those of you that haven't subscribed yet and you enjoy our content, I hope that you would consider subscribing. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, and we're getting closer and closer, so I appreciate all of you that are supporting the channel. Don't forget that we are going to be giving away the carbon fiber Predator. We'll leave all of that information down in the description box so you guys can check that out. We'll also link all of these models there so you can jump over and check those out in greater detail. We've got more episodes and more content coming out for you guys shortly, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And until then, thanks for watching, guys.